Hey Daisy, what you doing over here? What you doing? You gonna run away from me again? You gonna run away? Where you going? Where you going? Hey everyone, happy 4th, and speaking of 4ths, this is the 4th day after the flood, so we're going to mix in a little bit of fun and also try to get something done. So I'm going to show you today's goal. Hey Daisy, want to show everyone what we're going to do today? That's right, it's right up here. This table in the kitchen, all this stuff on here has been displaced from the flood, and so the goal is to take this stuff off of here and just get this either listed or just put somewhere else. And so that's going to be the focus, clear this up, and we'll see how it goes. Now, some of you may be wondering, why am I focusing on that table right now and not cleaning something up in the basement where the flood was? Well, the reason for that is because I need to get some more comic books listed, and I really need the space that that table affords me to be able to do that. And so with it being cluttered up like that, it's a big problem. The other thing is, when we walk into the house from the garage, the table is the first thing that we see. And so with it being cluttered like that, you're just hit with a visual source of stress as soon as you walk in. And so we definitely want that cleared out, myself and Mrs. Primetime. That's a big goal for today. Besides that, we're going to work in some other things. It is 4th of July, and so one of the things I love to do on 4th of July is eat, and I think of barbecue. And so I'm going to take you over right now. We're going to do some takeout, but I'm going to show you this place. If you've never been around here to Syracuse, the #1 place to stop off to eat is the Dinosaur barbecue. Doesn't that name sound amazing? I know people like Emily Conway who are watching, and some other Syracuse and Central New York folks know, but let's head over there. I'm going to take a ride over there with Primetime Jr., and we're going to get some chow. All right, so before we head over to Dinosaur Barbecue, I have got to take this out of the Primetime Treasure Mobile. Mrs. Primetime went out today and she picked up a whole bunch of 56 quart storage boxes. There's 8 of them in here. So this is perfect. This is gonna help me get organized. So, all right, we'll work on this later. All right, here we go, Dinosaur Barbecue. Just gotta find a place to park. So I just love this place. This is one of the Dinosaur murals that they have painted on the outside. They have them inside as well. The food is as good as the murals look, and inside has a lot of character to it. There's a lot of license plates and art and pictures hanging on the walls. This is just some of the food: the macaroni and cheese, the potatoes and gravy, the coleslaw is incredible. I love it on top of the pulled pork on that sandwich called the Carolina. The ribs are amazing. Anyway, just love that place. This is a book that I had rescued out of the flood area. It's a graphic novel. There's actually 7 different covers. This is signed on the front by Eric Powell and 3 other people who worked on the book. And this is the Eric Powell variant. And so that's why his signature, you can see me pointing it out there. So I have this for $20 listed right now. What do you got in your mouth there? What is that? What kind of toy is that? What do you got? Let me see. Let's see what that is. What is that? Is that... Oh, it looks like a peep. You like Peeps? Oh, here you go. Anyone hungry for Thanksgiving turkey? So I got some in my yard right now. Gobble, gobble. Hey, Daisy. So what I'm doing now, I'm taking a break from the table project, and I am working on this project in my office up here. So this room, you've seen me film in before. I've actually done some live shows, like I did one with Donatello Bodolino from here. This room used to be red, and right when we had the flood, we decided to repaint this room and a couple other rooms up here. So in addition to all the stuff from the basement that got displaced, this was all displaced at the same time as well. So I'm going through this stuff and I'm figuring out if there's anything that I might want to sell. Like you can see, there's a bunch of comic related stuff over there, and what stuff I want to keep, because it's really a mix. And so I'll show you what this all looks like when it's all said and done. And there's Daisy again. And there's some other stuff over here as well. You can see there's more comic book boxes, and there's, you know, Masters of the Universe stuff. And then around the corner, there's, you know, that's my whole Doctor Who VHS collection stacked into there. It needs to go back on top of the bookshelves. And there's Daisy inspecting the premises. So I gave Mrs. Primetime an hour of my time for that office. So I'm going to do that and focus on that for a little bit now. All right, one little tip I wanted to pass on to you, which is to make sure that you are looking up books even if they seem boring to you, especially if they look like they're technical in nature. A good example would be this Poisoning and Toxicology handbook here. Now, this is a 3rd edition. They have a 4th edition now, which people are buying, but since this one, you can't really find it anymore, people will still pay up for this one. And some of the books I'm going to show you here, like this one here, Polarizing the Case, right? That looks boring. Just some guy standing there, he's an attorney, and you're probably thinking, well, who would be interested in this? Well, this book is all about defending a malingering charge in a case, and in a courtroom. In other words, defending the accusation that someone is faking something. And there's really only one copy of this book, or like a couple of them around on Amazon and eBay, and they go up to like around $177 or $190 in asking price. So, you know, an attorney's law firm would pay up for a book like this to help out with a client, for example. And then there's, you know, other really technical books, like these books, you know, you see with like the brain on them, these neuropsychology, neurology books, these reference books. People pay up for these kind of books. They're not necessarily textbooks, but if you look these different ones up that I'm showing you, the asking prices on them are usually somewhere between $100 and $200. So if you ever happen to come across one, again, just make sure that you're checking them out. All right, well, it is Sunday morning, July 5th, and I am not going to let some water interfere with my treasure hunting. So I am going to head out to the flea market, even though I don't expect that there'll be too many people here. There's an estate sale that's in its 2nd day with some reductions, and then I'm going to come back here and update you on stuff that happened with the contractor who came early this morning. All right, here we are again at the flea market. As you can see, we still have a lot of open parking spots, and that's because it's 4th of July weekend. Last week, it was, you know, not that many people here because they didn't advertise it that well that it was open, and you know, people just had a few days to prepare. So I'm thinking next week we might have the biggest crowd. So let's get out and see if we can find any treasures here. Now I'll talk to you about the specific title in a moment, but as a general tip, always look up the comps for Nintendo GameCube titles. Also, another thing that you want to always be sure to look into is if you ever see anything by the brand Ertl, E-R-T-L, they wanted $150 for these two, so I passed. But really cool sets. All right, so I'm done now. At first, I thought I was gonna have pretty bad news and that all I was gonna be able to show you was this Billy and Mandy GameCube game that I bought. Now, this is one to look for. When it has the manual, it regularly goes for around $45. Now, this one doesn't have the manual. The disc is in great shape, but you know, the cheapest one available right now is $45, so I should get somewhere between 25 and 40 out of it, I think. So I kept walking around, and it was generally the same old stuff from the same old dealers, and I'm just about to go, and I come to the last table and I see this, and I say, this looks interesting, a box. So let's open the top of the box, and what's inside? Comic books. But there's a problem. The tops of almost every one of these comic books has been ripped off. So a lot of people would probably walk by this and say, well, they're all just damaged and can't use them. Now I asked the guy how much he wanted for all these, and he said $1 a piece, and you could see it's a pretty deep box. But I went through it a little bit more, and I saw that there were some other things in here besides comic books. So for example, right here, this is a 44 Western magazine. I'll take it out of the bag lightly here so you can see it. Still has nice colors and stuff. This is from 1948. Still has the back and everything. You know, it's got a little bit of staining and stuff, but you know, these books go for usually between $20 and $40. So I was like, that's interesting. And then I kept going through and I saw some other things besides comic books, like this one here. This is really neat. I don't even know what year this one goes back to. Let's see here. Okay. So this one goes back to 1953. So these always sell well, these science fiction, vintage books from the 50s and stuff. And once I saw that there were other things in here besides comic books, because one of the things I've shown you before about comic books, when you have superhero comic books that date back to the 70s, 60s, that sort of thing, people will still buy them even if the covers are ripped off because they just want to read the story, or sometimes they even make their own covers for the books. And I just sell them in a big lot at auction, and I do really well with it. So I've done videos on that before, and I would just refer you back to those under my comics playlist section. But let's keep going through here. I don't even know everything that's in here, but I did see some other things that interested me. Let's see, we've got some car magazines in here. There's nothing too great about those, but there's other ephemera pieces in here. Well, it's an old almanac. Who really cares about that? Let's see. Oh, look at that. A Duncan Yo-Yo book. That's pretty neat. Let's see. Oh, okay. Now, we're going to come across something here. Oh, look at that. Look at that. It's a really cool 1939 Science and Mechanics magazine. All right, so then I saw these. And when I saw these, it reminded me of the other comic book store where I found these vintage photos in them. Now, these are obviously, you know, printed, and there's numerous of them. Here we got Mickey Mantle, number 7 from the Yankees. But then there's some other cool ones in here, like besides Mickey Mantle. So let me show you here. So there we've got Ken Griffey, the original Ken Griffey, not Ken Griffey Jr., with a little description there. So that's neat. There were some other cool ones here. Let's see, what do we got? We got like a ton of them here. So this is Willie Mays. That's a pretty neat one. There's like a lot of famous sports figures here. Mickey Mantle Jr. So I got Mickey Mantle Jr. You could kind of combine them together. Over here, let's see. We've got Frank Robinson. There's a lot of them. I saw a Joe Pepitone one that was interesting. I didn't even get to go through all of them, but I saw enough that I said, wow, there's a lot more than just comic books in here. Boy, I got to find this Joe Pepitone one for you. It is so funny. Look at that. There's Gary Carter when he played for the Expos, former Mets great. Hold on. Let me find this Joe Pepitone one. Then I'll tell you how much I paid for all this. Oh, wait, here it is. Here it is. Look at that one. Look at that hairy chest on Joe Pepitone. So, and he's outside his restaurant. So this is the kind of stuff that would sell really well. I mean, just ask Don, the auction professor. Go check out his channel. He'll tell you about how much all this vintage ephemera stuff will go for. So I immediately, as soon as I saw the these photos and I saw like stuff like this, I was like, how much do you want for all this stuff? Just give me a box lot price. So he goes, you want it all? He's like, $20 for everything. I'm like, sold, because I know I could make my $20 off just selling one of those magazines that's intact. And then there's just these other things that are really neat. Like, look at this. These are like some looks like some old postcards in here from like another country. We've got some other things here. I don't even know everything that's in here. We've got some Harley Davidson motorcycle calendar. So there's one from 2000. Let's see, kind of beat up Love magazine. Maybe I could combine it with this one here, and someone will buy them even if they're beat up. I've shown you that these things still sell. Modern Mechanics magazine. You know, some of these are pretty beat up, but for $20, you know, this is not bad at all. And I don't care moving these things around like this. It's not going to matter. So, a couple other things here. What do we got? Roger Staubach and the Dallas Cowboys. All right. And Smooth On Handbook. What's this about? I love things that are tool related like this. These always sell well. So overall, $20. Oh, here's another one. Look at this. Here we got Ranch Romances. Ranch Romances. That's awesome. You know, condition problems for sure, but you know, let's see, how old is it? This goes back to, where's the date? Okay, so this one goes back to 1938. So pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. So anyway, I'm happy with this, and we're gonna move on to an estate sale now. As I've mentioned before, another reason that people buy those coverless comic books, the vintage ones like that with the superheroes, crafting projects. All right, well, that's the estate sale. We are going to go to another one of these one-level houses. What is this? The year of the one-level houses? I don't get it, but all right, let's hit this up. It's the second day of a 2-day sale. Anything $25 or less is 50% off. All right, so you know where I'm going. I'm going straight down those basement stairs, and right above me, I see a sign screwed into the wall, and I ask, hey, is this sign for sale? And the guy says, yep, no one's asked yet. So I said, all right. So then I came down here, I saw another sign that was screwed into the wall. And then I looked across from me and saw another sign, a vintage Molson sign, really cool, still on the wall. This is the day later, hours into the sale. So second day of the sale. Amazing that that's still there. So I took my screwdriver, took that sign off right there, put it right into the box. And then here I am unscrewing this one. They even had a Phillips screwdriver out, and nobody had taken this off. So that one was just $5, which also was the price of the video game that I sourced earlier. I forgot to tell you that. So $5 for the sign and the video game. So there, that one goes into the box as well. And the sign across the way, I didn't even have to unscrew it. All I had to do was lift it off, and it was really light. It's actually made of foam. So it's really cool. That's gonna really come out nicely when I just clean it up. That dust is gonna come right off, and it's gonna look really nice and shiny. So good piece there. This is a Margaritaville souvenir cup. If you ever see anything like this, pick it up. This is only $1. You know, and collectors will pay up for this, like around $20 or more. So that's a nice light first class item right there. And big thumbs up for that. So this is a vintage ice crusher. I just wanted to show it to you. It's not worth much, so I didn't pick it up, but you just put the ice in the top and you turn the lever there, and crushes the ice by moving the gears around. So cool piece there, but not worth picking up. But these t-shirts were worth picking up, even though they're not really vintage, but they're still cool in terms of what they have on it. Anything that says something tiki on it is definitely worth picking up, and this has the added bonus of having the name and image of Tigger on it. Obviously not an official Disney product, but still cool. And of course, I love these, you know, male-related humor items. So I definitely give that a multiple thumbs up for that one. This Roger Waters concert shirt was cool. I always say pick up concert shirts, especially if it has any tour dates on the back. You know, something like that, go for easily like around $20, sometimes a little more. And then I saw these cool pants. These were Adidas pants, and they had cool colors on it that reminded me of University of Miami. So you don't normally see these colors, so I picked these up as well and added this to the lot. All right, so we're out of there. Let me show you the recap and how much everything cost. All right, so we got the cool Molson sign. We got this sign over here. We got this sign over here, which someone actually stole from me when I was turning around messing with another item, and was literally checking out with it, and I wound up grabbing it back. So got this one. I'm like, no way. You know, I pulled that off the wall and everything. That's why you got to be careful, you know, with the boxes. The shirts, so there were 3 shirts. The pants, 1, 2, 3, and the margarita right there. Pretty cool. Got everything there for a total of $33. So very happy with that right there. Awesome. So some people watching this might be wondering, why the heck am I going out treasure hunting when I've got a whole big mess from a flood that I need to clean up? And there's definitely an argument to be made there. I certainly could have stayed in the entire weekend and not done anything, and gave that as the reason. Now, I didn't go out anywhere on July 4th. I stayed home, went out, as you saw, got some barbecue with the family, and just, you know, enjoyed the day. You know, made some progress, and, you know, just the itch in me to go treasure hunting is something that I just need to fulfill. I will not feel happy if I don't do that. And so I want to do things that make me feel happy. So I just limited it, went to the flea market a little bit, went to one estate sale on the second day, and that's it for today. And then we're going to go back and make some more progress. But it's one of the things that I personally suggest, in terms of dealing with adversity and stuff, is trying to get yourself back to your normal routine as quickly as you can. And this is me just documenting some of the damage. There were 10 towels that we just can't use anymore from cleaning up all that water and dirt. There's all the comic book boxes that got damaged. I mean, they're just pretty much crumpled up and soggy. So it just took multiple photos of those in case I need it in the future. And here's all the inventory that got damaged. Fortunately, none of it was listed, so that's good. But there's a bunch of stuff there. Now, I was able to pull out a few things to save, and I'll show that a little bit later. For just the actual comic books themselves, that's the entire box worth there. But again, I was able to pull out a little bit and save it. Now, this is my contractor coming over and dropping off some boxes for me for shipping, so that's really nice of him. All right, so time for the contractor update. We have figured out the cause of the leak. Good news and bad news on that. So good news, we don't actually have to get the pipe repaired. Why, you say? Well, that's also part good news and bad news. The good news is that the pipe did not actually burst. This actually was all preventable. Let me show you what happened here. So when we shut the water off every year, we turn this off. We open up the outside spout so that no water freezes there. We don't have a frost-free valve here. And then I was always told to open up this little piece that you see here. And then normally what happens is that I turn this on, and usually I get like a few drips that come out of that, and then I tighten it back up. Well, this year, when I opened it, there was no water that dripped out here, so I forgot to close it. Well, Mrs. Primetime then closed the water out in the front, and when I walked away, that created a back pressure, and all the water was coming out of here. So all that really needed to be done was that needed to be turned, and that's it. That was the source of the problem. So I'm telling you this, even though this is a little embarrassing, but don't make that same mistake. Turns out my contractor said we don't even need to open that at all. So we're just gonna leave it be and just keep it tight with a nut. So we don't have to do anything that'll save a little money on repair. So that's good. We don't have to repair the floor. The floor is nice and dry. It's a cement floor. There's no sign of any water damage, no smell of mold, anything like that. The backing boards all look good. So that's nice. So in terms of upgrades, the insurance company is not going to pay for an entire new ceiling. All they're going to say is, okay, we'll replace these tiles. That's it. So I get that, but we're going to take them down. We're going to take all this down and just expose everything. So I'll have more room going up, and we'll probably cover something up top. Like we'll do some kind of covering just to make it like a little bit nice in like some select areas. And we're going to take down all this insulation because we don't even need it. We don't even need the insulation. So that's going to go. So it's going to look nicer down here. And then over here, this is the part I'm most excited about. So I just put this up to show you. This is what I had always worked on to do my shipping. These were comic book boxes, short boxes that were 4 high. So this is 45 inches off the ground, and it goes out 16 inches. And so there were several boxes that went over. I don't remember if it was 4 or 5 rows or whatever, but it's not ideal because the top of the boxes, they get damaged, and it's not exactly the most stable thing. Plus it's on top of my inventory, which I would prefer not to use. It's not really professional looking. That's another problem. And also, if all you have are rows of comic boxes here, that takes away storage space for supplies. Like it would be much more convenient for me to reach underneath and grab supplies. So what we're going to do is a 7-foot long customized basically workstation area. So I have lots of room to work on like signs and bubble wrap and all that kind of stuff. And then underneath it's going to be open shelving so that I could just grab what I need to. Now I'll still have some of these around, but That's going to be nice going out 7 feet like that. And then right here, we're going to take this off because this is just something we bought in the store. And he's going to create me a customized shelf that goes 7 feet long as well. So, and that's just going to come out a foot. So, and then if I decide that I want other shelving around here, for example, you know, once we clear more of this stuff out, I'll give them instructions on that in terms of what to do. So that's the plan. Obviously, I've got some reorganization to do in the meantime, so I'm going to work on that. And looking forward to getting the contracting work started.
Good news, I was able to save this G.I. Joe comic book digest because it was in a bag and a board.
And on a very positive note, here is a bunch that I was able to save. So this is definitely exciting and unexpected. There were a couple that I had thrown away that actually had bags on them. Some of them were protected because they had a glossier, thicker cover on them. And then there were other ones that just dried out okay on the bottoms, which was my initial concern. So that really feels good. I didn't think that these were going to be saved, and I'm real happy that they were. So it just goes to show that, like I said, you know, you just keep on chugging along, and you know, some positive news is bound to come your way. So awesome. Very excited about this. All right, and in the final bit of good news for this video, I am happy to show you that we finally have our table back. It is all clear. The only thing that you see at the end there are some comic book price guides that came out of the garage that I told you in a prior video I'm going to list. So that's the next thing. I'm going to take photographs and get that up. So we are moving along slowly. Things are coming back together, and I am feeling much better. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, make sure you hit the like button, give it a big thumbs up. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed, leave a comment, question down below, and I'll see you all at the next video, everyone. Take care.